Welcome to Thursday's Market SITREP here at Top Gun Options. Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz, folks, and we're looking at two shots this week and looking at potentially two good kills on our S&P 500 bear call spreads. One's up about $900 since Monday, and the other one's up about $300, $400. So over $1,000 in weekly options gains, and it's only Thursday, and I think this market's going to continue to sell off into tomorrow, and I'll give you my strategic mindset as to why. More importantly, if you're free this afternoon after the close, I'm going to tell you all this stuff live because we're going to do a full throttle live trade brief, and it's called, and this is breaking news, folks. I'm done with the Trump rally. I'm done with Trump. That's it. So join me at 4:30 this afternoon after the close. I'm going to give you my new strategic mindset. I'm going to take a look at it, at least one, hopefully two, based on time, actionable trades for this for fading the Trump rally here. Here's where you need to go. Go.topgunoptions.com/int, which is intermediate, INT, -test, -flight. Not too hard to remember. INT for intermediate, -test, -flight. And if that's too much of a mouthful, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/TopGunOptions, and it's the top post right here. Just click on this with the F-18 landing aboard the boat here, and you'll register for a slot. We are limited to 200 seats in our Go to Training Room at 200. If you get an error that says you can't get in the room this afternoon, you're registered too late. So make sure you grab your slot now as soon as you're watching this video, because we'll review our two S&P 500 bear call spreads, and I'll tell you why in a second here, why I still think we're going to sell into tomorrow, and we'll review and debrief the three trades from last week. Check this out. We had 3 shots and 3 kills last week. 2 SPX bear call spreads that made, what, over $3,100, and then an Apple bear call spread that made $1,700, folks. So we're looking at over $7,000 in weekly options gains in a week and a half. And that's limited risk, folks. And because I have an SOP, standard operating procedure, I never want to risk more than $5,000 or 5% of the model portfolio on any one trade. That's just me. You might be 2.5, you might be 10, you might be 15, you might be nuts and do 50. You have to have an SOP, though, standard operating procedure. So these trades are unlimited risk. Okay, we got to get to work here. A lot to cover. It's a busy Thursday. North Korea threatens China with grave consequences over betrayal. Folks, China and North Korea have been in bed for half a century, folks, maybe longer. Now it's over. China, President Xi is really trying to lean on North Korea to wise up, because President Xi, after meeting Trump up the road here in Palm Beach, knows that Trump's a nut too. And he knows that this guy's a nut, and something bad's going to happen. And President Xi doesn't want a reunited Korea full of capitalism on his doorstep, okay? So it's in his best interest to make this happen. And it's also in his best interest, obviously of everybody's best interest, but specifically his, not to have a war. Millions of people streaming across the North Korean border into China is going to be bad for him. So, folks, again, you have to keep an eye on this. One of my wizisms here at Top Gun Options is the market only cares when it cares. So it seems like a couple of weeks ago we really cared, and oh my God, we might have war. Just because CNBC, Comedy Central or Fox Business News isn't covering this doesn't mean it's not going on. If something bad happens, it'll be breaking news, it'll be going on, and your portfolio will be at zero if you're not hedged. And we're hedged with some VXX bullish double verticals and also some bearish trades on the S&P 500. So still not good in the Peninsula. One of the reasons I think the market's going to sell off or at least wallow in tomorrow is this. Barack Obama officially endorses Macron over in France. If you remember, Macron's the guy who likes older ladies. I'll leave it at that. He was in, 8th grade, and this lady was his high school drama teacher or something like that. 20 years as senior, whatever it is. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but when Obama comes out and officially endorses this dude, he's going to lose. The Trump in this election is Le Pen, and they vote Sunday. So nobody in the right mind, any professional trader, hedge fund guy, whoever, is going to be long going into the weekend when we have a potential Trump victory over in France. So keep your eyes on the French election. I want Le Pen. I think this guy he's an Obama. Okay, and remember what I think of Barack Obama. For any Star Wars fans out there, Obama is Lando Calrissian from Cloud City. Smooth talk. Well, I wish Chicago was like Cloud City. It's not. It's the murder capital of the world. But he's Billy D. Williams, man. Smooth talking black guy that just was an absolute failure. Colin Powell should have been the first African-American president, and it's just too bad that his wife, literally his wife, wouldn't let him. She convinced him that he'd be assassinated, and we got Barack Obama. I should have put this with the North Korea. I need to slide this over. The best case scenario for North Korea, folks, is a couple SEAL teams that have volunteered for essentially one-way missions to get in there, get this guy. We're playing whack-a-mole. We're going to try and find out where he is because this is the only way to end this, okay? I know the CIA's gotten to enough of his generals that their cell phone will ring after this guy's killed that says, are you with us or against us? You got 24 hours to decide, kind of like we did in Operation Iraqi Freedom and the first Gulf War. This is... I'm laughing, folks, because this really is, this healthcare thing it's Trump is loosey with the football, man. Conservative Republicans, even Republicans all over the scale, and Democrats are playing loosey with the football with this healthcare. And Trump does face a major test because this is the third time we've tried this, folks. Under Obama, the Republicans voted in the House to repeal Obamacare 60 times. We're 0 for 2, and from what I'm hearing, we might be 0 for 3. Why do we care? Okay, first of all, who was the hedge fund manager? The CIO, the chief investment officer of, it just went out of my head, whatever. This guy, when it failed the first time, he goes, who cares about healthcare? Poor people care about it. It was a Gordon Gekko moment for that guy, but he's right. The market doesn't care about healthcare in as much as it cares about tax reform, and if he can't get this passed with a Republican House and Senate and him in the White House, tax reform might be screwed. So this is why the market is also potentially going to roll over. He doesn't get health care this week or today or tomorrow like he was supposed to get last week. You might see the market roll over a little bit and head down to the 50-day moving average. Volatility down here, folks, it was below 10 the other day. The first time in 10 years it was below 10. And if you don't think this thing's going to spike on something that's going to creep the market the hell out, you're a fool. I just briefed you on a hell of a lot of bad stuff, and the VIX is still down here at a low. I'm probably going to cover a bullish double vertical on volatility this afternoon that you're not going to want to miss. But good article in the journal that's actually a bad article today. The investor anxiety that the market's fear gauge is missing. They're saying, hey, the VIX it's pretty damn low right now as people shift protection strategies, wrong word, their tactics, away from the S&P 500 index options. Here's where the journal went wrong today. And I'm sure we have a reporter as a member here because when I say stuff a week or two, I say stuff and then a week or two later you see an article in the journal here. So I appreciate you guys being a member. I don't think the current levels of the VIX reflect the risk in the system. This guy said it a hell of a lot better than I did. Something is going to happen that freaked the market the hell out soon. I'm not Nostradamus. That's not my call sign. It's Wiz. Kind of close enough. But they said instead of using the VIX to get long vol, people are selling covered calls. Come on, journal. So selling an upside call, yeah, you bring in a little bit of scratch, but you own the underlying stock or ETF. If we get one of these big events that really freaks the market the hell out, that little bit of premium ain't going to cover the drop in the stock or the ETF. Come on, guys. You guys are better than this at the journal, and it's awful. They talk about bullish call options on the Treasury. I get that. Not a bad hedging strategy. I'm not a Treasury guy. I know that at the end of the day, when, not if, something happens to creep this market out, the VIX will be above 10, 15, 20 in the blink of an eye. The VIX can move that quick, folks. Artillery fire across the DMZ and 4 million people, God forbid, seriously, dead in the blink of an eye, including 40 to 60,000 U.S. service people, the VIX will be at 90. Your little covered call tactic will be, it won't be worth the paper it's written on. Treasuries, sure. Gold, sure. But this, you got to come at 4:30 today because we're going to talk about where the journal's wrong, and they're leading you wrong here. The bad macroeconomic data parade continues. U.S. productivity plunges in Q1. Look at that, folks. Look at that bad print. And the GDP report that we got last Friday was an embarrassment. We didn't see the president out there touting the great economy or the great stock market on Friday, did we? Huge disappointment in GDP on Friday. Core factory orders tumble the most in 13 months. Where's the Trump rally, folks? And you guys know me. I nailed it. I nailed the election. I nailed this rally. And now I'm about to nail that it's over with, okay? Not saying we're going to plunge or implode, but I think we're at least going to probably head back down to this 50-day moving average. we're running out of airspeed. Apple, sell on the news. We got both of these right this week, didn't we? I said Apple will be a sell on the news event. Seeing problems in China. I get that they can shift to India, folks, but China's the gorilla in the room. So I predicted a sell on the news with Apple, and yesterday or this week, what did I say? I put a sell on the news with Facebook as well. I think it was a top line miss, bottom line beat, or whatever the hell it was. Facebook's starting to have some issues, folks. I love it. Still very, very long-term bullish on Facebook. I would use any pullback in Apple and or Facebook to get long, and that'll probably be my other trade in our 4:30 webinar after the close. Okay, a lot covered in the SITREP. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Take a look at our gains in our weekly options and urgent alert portfolio year to date. And I'm only using about 54% of the capital available in the account here. And look at that performance. Look at our VXX, which I'm going to talk about this afternoon. We're up about 36 grand year to date in this portfolio, which is freaking awesome. So very happy with what's going on here at TGO. If you want to take a test flight and see how we're doing, like I said, head to go.topgunoptions.com/int-test-flight. And if that's too much for you to read, head to our Facebook page, and it's the top link on the post. Or actually, you should be following me on Twitter for my political rants, @WizCheck6. And if you go to that page, I also just sent that out as a tweet right here. You can click on that link to join us this afternoon. Okay, I got to run. Busy day ahead of me. I'm going to send out the urgent alert, or actually I'm probably going to use one of the trades in the 4:30 webinar as an urgent alert. Okay? All right, folks, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and I'll see many of you at 4:30 after the close for Fading the Trump Rally, and that is breaking news. When you lose me as a Trump supporter, you know it's over, Mr. President. So either give me a call or keep your pie hole shut so you don't get a lot of people hurt. Okay, I'll see you guys at 4:30.